If you're new to the world of crypto, I'm gonna say it's pretty complicated. Just 7 months ago, I set up my very first MetaMask wallet and then deposited some Ethereum. Contrast that to today, I'm actually writing smart contracts, but back then, I knew absolutely nothing about how many scams there were out there. In fact, I lost a decent amount of money, probably somewhere around $5,000, due to certain scams that I fell prey to. The cool thing about the blockchain is that the information is available to everyone. So technically I could even share the transactions with you where I lost the money. Welcome to Whiteboard Crypto, the #1 YouTube channel for crypto education, and here we explain topics of the cryptocurrency world using analogies, stories, and examples so that you can easily understand them. In this video, we're going to explain some of the most common crypto scams, including one that's so new you probably haven't even heard of it yet, and of course, how to avoid them. So let's dig into the top 10 worst scams inside the World Wide Web 3 that you might encounter. Number 1. Is any website asking for your private keys? Do you remember the first time you set up a crypto wallet? You probably didn't know if you were even doing things correctly, and everything was really complicated. Well, at least it was for me. Scammers take advantage of this all the time. The trick is very simple. They ask you for your personal information, specifically for something called your private key. Now, it's really sad to me how many scammers out there take advantage of someone's lack of knowledge, and then try to get you to tell them your seed phrase. By doing this, they are actually getting access to all of your crypto funds. Some of these scammers might say things like, hey, I want to send you some money, what's your key? Or even something like, hey, you just won one whole Ethereum. Tell us your seed phrase so we can deposit the funds in your account. They'll try every trick possible to fool newbies into giving them access to their funds. When it comes to crypto, you actually get two keys, a private key that you should never ever share, and a public key that is kind of like your email address. This one, you intentionally share. Many people confuse these, which leads them to getting scammed. You can learn more about both of these by watching our video on asymmetric encryption, which is a complicated topic that we break down so simple your grandpa could understand. The next scam we have is number 2, asking to invest for you as a trusted creator. So the second trick is something that you might be used to if you've looked down in the comment sections below of some of my videos, or if you're in any crypto Discord or Telegram servers. Scammers will create a bot that seems official or try to impersonate a project, specifically a team member, and then they will DM you so that they look official. And they do this in hopes of scamming you in some way. One of the most common scams is the way that they ask for $100 and then they'll turn it into $2,000 for you and give it back. They're basically claiming to invest your money for you. Now this happens all the time on my channel. In fact, I even messaged one of these scammers to see how this scam worked. And I want to say it very clearly right now. Never reach out to someone you met in the comment sections on YouTube, especially if they look like me. I promise you, it is not me. Once you reach out to one of these fake accounts, a scammer will send you a DM moments later, saying that they're a project team member and that they can assist you. They often change their username or their profile picture to impersonate a real team member on Discord or YouTube. For the case of Discord, you can do something really simple. You can check the actual Discord handle and check if it matches the information of the impersonated team member. For example, mine is practical psychology #9608. And no one can copy that Discord handle. For YouTube, it could be something as simple as just clicking on the account and seeing that they have 0 subscribers, or no videos uploaded. Remember, no legit project team member will ever give you a WhatsApp telephone number, and we will never ask to invest your money for you. Scam number 3 is burning a percentage of a token or sending it to a dev wallet. Now another scam, well at least it's kind of a scam, is that token developers will implement something that is called a burn feature. They will say every time this token is traded, a portion of the trade is burned forever. So an example of this is that if you were to send 100 tokens to your friend, 5 tokens would be burned forever, or at least sent to an account that nobody has access to. This makes you believe that one day there won't be very many of these tokens out there, and if you buy now and then just hold, the value of your tokens should automatically increase. Well, let me tell you something. If my dog ate something that one day turned his poop orange, that might be the entire day in his whole life where his poop was orange. But just because it's scarce and it only happened once doesn't mean it has value. Nobody's gonna want my dog's orange-colored poop. For it to have value, other people have to want that orange poop for it to have value. Keep this in mind with tokens that have a deflationary feature, especially if that's all that they offer. Scam number 4 is something that I saw actually a few days ago. Here's the setup. Someone contacts you and says something like this. hey, I live in China and they just made crypto illegal, so I want to get rid of my wallet so I don't get in trouble. Here's my seed phrase. You can donate the money or do whatever you want with it, and maybe have some for yourself. Then after that message, they will actually send you a real seed phrase to an actual account with actual money in it. The one that I personally saw had $3,000 worth of Tether. But here's the trick. To get the Tether out, you must first have some Ethereum in the account to pay the gas fee. So if you're kind of smart, you'll think, I'll just send it to my own account. To do that, you have to deposit like $50 of Ethereum so that you can actually transact the money out of the account. Well, it happens to be that the fee to transact a token is like $50, while the fee to send Ethereum is like $10. So you deposit $50 and then immediately the scammer sends the money to their account, profiting $40. When I say immediately, I mean really fast, like within 10 seconds. They have a computer running a program that checks if there's funds in that account and then automatically sends it to their Ethereum account. So there is absolutely no way for you to get the $3,000 out of there. Now the sad part of this is the blockchain is available for everyone to see. So you can literally look at the account on Etherscan and see that 30 people were scammed around $2,800 in total. And if we get enough comments below, maybe I'll explain it in more detail. But in short, if someone gives you their seed phrase and the wallet has money in it, do not deposit money for any reason. Whatever money you deposit in there, consider gone. I'm also going to say, technically, if they were in China and they didn't want to be connected to the account, they wouldn't have to give it to someone. Ethereum accounts don't work like that, and it's just bad logic. Scam number 5 is a smart contract bug. So another trick that scammers use, which you may not even be aware of, is a bug where people can buy a token, but then they can't sell it. Now I know what you're thinking. How is this possible? Well, there are actually 3 ways of doing this. First, when the developers are creating the token, they simply disable the approve function in the ERC20 token contract, basically meaning decentralized exchanges cannot get your approval for putting the token to be sold. The second way is to add a rebase function into the token contract, so at the moment you try to sell the token, you'll lose 99% of it. Third, they could easily write a few lines of code that prevents the token from being sold to a DEX, only bought or supplied. This means a lot of money coming into the project and none is going out, making it a perfect situation for scammers to run away with all their money. Technically, they could make it so when you sold your token, the money you would have received goes to the developers also. Now to sum this up, I'm not saying you should learn how to read smart contract code, but I will say before making any buy over $1,000, you should find a friend who can. Number 6 is phishing on fake websites. The next technique is something you really need to be careful of and keep an eye out whenever you discover a new project or you browse using a new device or a computer. Some scammers will create a website that is an exact copy of a specific crypto project that you actually want to invest in, and they'll do it with the same user interface and the same information on it. The only things different from this fake website to the real one are 2 things. Number 1, the domain. Because scammers can't use the same domain as a real website, they will actually create a new one that is almost the same as the real one. For example, scammers could create a fake Whiteboard crypto website, switching it from the .com to the .org, .net, .fi, .xyz, or any other top-level domain. They could also add an S to the end, like whiteboardcryptos.com, or remove the E, whitboardcrypto.com. Anyways, the idea here is that they change this little detail so people don't realize they're on the wrong website. The second thing they change is the smart contracts, and this is the scammy part. The scammers could change the smart contracts code so that if you were to interact with it, they could get access to your funds in your wallet, leading you to losing all your money. In fact, they can make this contract do literally anything, which is why it's really important to only connect to applications that you trust. Personally, something I do to make sure I always click on the right links is to go to trusted websites like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. You can also check the official project's Twitter account to find the right links and then bookmark those links so you always use the correct one. Scam number 7 is fake ICOs. So you know how Kickstarter projects, or really any crowdfunding projects, get the money? They show their product that's yet to be manufactured, and then people fund the project in exchange for a great deal. Maybe they'll get 2 products for the price of one, or maybe a special edition version. In crypto, we have something similar, and it's called an ICO, or initial coin offering, and it works as a way to gather a lot of money from investors so that they can start the project. Well, Fake ICOs are a really easy way for scammers to present a project to investors with absolutely no intention of actually creating it and then just run away with their investors' money. How it usually works is that scammers present a really nice, innovative, revolutionary project to the investors. They then ask for money to kick off their project and lure inexperienced investors in with a juicy ROI, like 100% or 1000%, and this leads to the investors giving their money, but then the scammers just run away with it. And because many projects in the crypto space are not regulated, unfortunately, the scammers pretty much get away with it. A good thing to do before investing in a crypto project is to look for legit white papers, a project's timeline, or good tokenomics to back your investment. Don't just look at the great user interface or the juicy ROI. We actually have a video coming up on how to specifically do research on a coin or a token, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for that absolute monster of a helpful video. Scam number 8 is called hidden whales. You know how I always say to be careful with projects with low liquidity or a low market cap because they can easily be manipulated by a whale? Well, a whale is anyone holding a high percentage of the tokens out there, and because of this, they have the ability to sell all their tokens at once, causing a crash. Anyways, since this is kind of obvious, and since scammers are aware that people will actually look at it before investing money into a project, scammy projects have now found other ways to hide the fact that they hold most of the token. Instead of having one wallet with all the money, they simply split it between multiple wallets. For example, if the total liquidity of a project was $500,000, and maybe the team was holding $50,000, which would be 10% of the entire project, they would then split the money into 10 different wallets, each wallet holding $5,000. This way, they make it look like a safer and legit project. Now, I do want to say here, you can easily check the early transactions of a project's initial tokens, but it is a lot more work required by you. And I've noticed that a lot of projects have started doing this because people won't do any more work other than just look at the token holders page on Etherscan. They'll simply look at it and say that there's no single whale wallets, and then they'll invest. Here's a tip. You can check the blockchain. You can actually spend an hour just looking around and seeing where the early money is going. It's very easy, it's very simple, it just takes some time. Maybe I'll make a video on how to do it later, but I just want you guys to be aware that this stuff actually happens. Again, the simplest way to make sure devs do not hold most of the token is to simply look at the first transactions and where the money originally got distributed. If the first transaction is sent to a lot of multiple addresses, this is not a good sign. Scam number 9 is psychologically making you think that a smaller price is easier to be able to hit a higher price. Now this one is technically not a scam, but it's kind of tricky. When a project launches, the tokenomics are established by the project's team. Developers get to answer the questions: what is the max supply of the token? What's the initial price of the token? And yes, they can set that. And who gets the early tokens? All of this stuff is decided in advance. Now, something quite a few scammy projects do is simply print a very large amount of tokens. That way the price stays low, even if there's a lot of money behind the entire project. Between you and me, owning 100 tokens at $1 each is the same as owning 100,000 tokens worth a tenth of a penny, right? Well, in people's mind, having more tokens with a low price is way more tempting psychologically because it makes them think, with a price this low, it'll easily double or triple or 10x or maybe even 100x in value. Along with this, they also get to feel like they're owning a ton of tokens. For these investors, it's cool for them to say that they own a billion tokens. But in reality, going from a tenth of a penny to $1 is just as difficult as another token going from $1 to $1,000. So this trick is really about making people think their gain opportunity is higher than it is, which makes people invest more in the token. So make sure you don't invest in a project only because the price of the token is low, because if you do, it might be a game of limbo and you're gonna see how low it can go. Lastly, number 10. Gambling with your trust. The last scam is something we saw with the latest hottest scam, the Squid Games token. These developers capitalized on the fact that a show called Squid Games became very popular, and they rode the hype train using the same name so that way they could get a lot of attention. But this is not the trick I'm wanting to talk about. To create a false sense of safety, they actually created a fake team. Yeah, you heard me right. They created around 10 fake profiles with fake bios to make it seem like the project had a great and solid team behind it. They went so far as to add computer-generated pictures of people. In fact, people that did not even exist, just to make the project seem more legit. The only thing I want to say about this one is that crypto scams are getting more and more persuasive, so you'll have to work a lot harder when making a decision on a project. Wrapping this video up, if you're wanting to invest in a project, there are really only two things that I suggest you to do. The first is to go to a website called rugdoc.io, and what this website does is analyze projects, and if there's any obvious possibilities of exploits or scams in the contract code, they'll let you know how high of a risk it is to invest in it. I'll put the link to this website in the description, it's very helpful. The other thing I can suggest is that you join our Discord and our team will actually look at the project for you and point out any obvious risks. Obviously, we can't tell you if it's a good bet or not, but we can tell you if it hits anything on this list or if we find any new bugs. You'll have to sign up to our newsletter to get access to that Discord, and you can find that easily at whiteboardcrypto.com. One more thing I do is research the project a ton before investing. I suggest reading the white papers and the tokenomics, the basics, but there's a few more advanced things I do. I actually created this really cool Ultimate Research PDF, which is a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly how to look into a token, and technically it's only available to Whiteboard Crypto Club members. But I'll be sharing some ideas from it in a future video, so definitely make sure you're subscribed. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. We really hope that you learned something. And most of all, we hope to see you in our next video.